Welcome to Seymour from the Front Pew podcast, coming to you from the broadcast studio at Seymour First Baptist Church in Seymour, Tennessee, and featuring thoughts and discussions around loving God, loving others, making disciples, and living the life. I am your host, Tiger Brooks, and now on to the podcast. Once again, we say hello to you listening in cyberspace. We thank you for tuning in. We are grateful for your attention to our and the fact that you're listening. And we appreciate you tuning in. And so here we are gathered around the table again. And if you've been a fan of these and you've been listening, you know, we kind of vacillate from semi-serious to insanely silly. And we're going to maybe strike a happy medium as we have a timely seasonal discussion, okay, about holidays.
Yeah.
And so
happy holidays.
Happy holidays. We began to kind of break it down even before we started rolling, but we're like, we have to capture this raw energy on video and on audio. And so we decided we wanted to do a holiday episode in terms of each of us going around the table and declaring on our top 5 holidays. But as you think about that, you have to understand and make a decision about from what perspective are we rating our holidays. And so that was the question that we threw out because, you know, strictly from the Christian perspective, you know, there's basically 2 holidays and we love both of them. Let's just stipulate that right now. The worship
Pentecost is a holiday.
The worship pastor has a different view of Easter and worship, Christmas and worship, and all those kinds of things. But from an enjoyment, fun. Hey, this holiday I like because X, Y, Z. I think that's the perspective that we're going with, obviously.
Personal.
And and so. And we'll let you weigh in. You can send us emails and comments, however you're watching this, you can comment about your favorite holidays as well. And so maybe we could start with our fearless leader.
Yeah, we're starting at number 5.
Yeah, we're going 5 down to 1.
Yep.
And he's playing poker. He's like playing 5-card stud over here.
So
is there revealing
as we go. So
the question is there a presupposition that we all have the same number 1?
I don't know that there's a presupposition.
Yeah, I think we probably do, but we can't start there.
I think we probably do.
No,
we can't start there.
I know, but that kind of removes some of the unknown. Okay.
Nah.
We know what Jason's.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Anyway.
Pretty simple.
Anyway, we'll get.
All right. So
my number 5.
Coming in at number 5.
For me is New Year's.
Okay.
All
right. So it somewhat goes to, again, for each of mine, it's how I think about celebrating them and what I do or who I'm with or what the traditions are a little bit. And so I have to, one is I can't separate New Year's from football, right? I mean, and I love football. So there's an element of that. And then just, I can always remember, even as a kid, trying to eat the certain foods through New Year's or whatever else.
Did your family do the black beans?
Yeah. Oh yeah, black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed peas.
Yeah, black-eyed peas and ham and just it was always a part of it. I would not say that we have always done
Hoppin' John.
Yeah.
Hoppin' John. That's what my mom used to make.
I would not say that we've always done all of the foods, but even now Melody will still try to fix, some of that, and it's just kind of one of those days where there's been a lot of years for me that New Year's was actually spent in student ministry. We did for years. We did our ski trip, and it would cover New Year's. We'd actually try to ski on New Year's Day a lot of times because it was a good it's not as busy. Because everybody celebrates New Year's Eve, so we'd ski on New Year's Day or whatever. But just it was always one that has always been. I can think of New Year's Eve football games that night and all that stuff. And so yeah, that's my number 5.
Yeah, that's a strong 5.
Yeah.
Are we going to go 5 all the way around, or we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with
I
each
think let's
other?
go 5 all the way
All the
around.
way around.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, 5th was Labor Day.
Okay.
I don't know. This is. I don't know. I guess because Labor Day we get off, so a lot of the like minor holidays we don't necessarily even take them off, or there's some kind of event or something. But it's just kind of that end cap of summer. You have summer, then you finally get back into routine, which I really like that swing out of summer back into routine. But then you get this just random weekend where usually you get, I don't know, something fun to do. It's still warm enough to do something fun outside, but it's not. I don't know. I just shot in the dark.
I'll probably get myself in trouble, but like I thought about Labor Day, Memorial Day, but I'm like, and I like both of them, but it's like we usually get to do something on one of them, but it's not so traditional that it's like I can't think of one thing that we always do with it. Like, does that
that's
make
kind of
sense?
where we're at.
And so that's
Day,
why like mine slid on.
Right.
What is
Memorial Day just feels like part of summer. I don't mean that disrespectful to Memorial Day. But it feels like part of summer. But Labor Day, you generally take the day off, and whether it's you run to Soaky Mountain for the last time or whatever it is, I don't know.
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's your list, bro.
Meaning Austin had to come up with a 5, and so he put one down.
That's exactly right.
He made that decision on the 3 flights of stairs up here.
Well, no, actually, the conversation on the way up here was like, I have 1, 2, 3, and 5. I can't figure out 4. Jason was like, why don't you just put number 5? I was like, because I know that number 5, I have a reason for it, but it's a bad reason to be number 4. So anyway,
All right. So New Year's Day.
Yeah. New Year's Day.
Not New Year's Eve. New Year's Day.
Really, just
or
kind of
just
New Year's.
well, that could have changed the whole list of
day.
Eves.
New
we're
Year.
down there.
Yeah, see, I think you got to do it as like
It's
New
the whole
Year's.
holiday.
Yes.
It's New Year's.
I think you got
Fair enough. Labor Day. Number 5 for Mr. Vineyard.
All right, so I got to admit, I did a 5 A and B.
Oh.
I had to put 2 there. Labor Day was my B, my 5B. And I went ahead and did it. My wife gave me the suggestion. I was like, it makes sense. MLK. And here's why. Because MLK is our Strength to Stand trip.
Student ministry.
And it's one of my favorite trips that we do with our students. Great worship services that we have over at LeConte, and the time we have in the cabin, just hanging out. It's just a fun weekend. So I had to throw that in there. It just made sense in my list.
Well, and again, it's like, to me, it's what you associate the holiday with.
Sure.
What do you do?
I mean, that's the whole thing, probably.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we won't dissect how much of it is MLK and how much of it is Strength to Stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it just happens to coincide.
It does. It's always MLK weekend.
That's
and
fair.
it's a great
That's
weekend.
Fair.
Yep.
My 5th is Memorial Day. And again, it's only because of the things that you associate with. Right. My family always has. In recent years, we've gathered together, and it's it's one of those things. As you age, both my parents passed away. It's my sister and I, my sister's family, and then we have basically it's the maternal side of the family. Okay, so it's my mom. She had 2 sisters, my cousin Jeff and his family. He was the only child. My Sue is my aunt, and that was the youngest of the sisters. My mom was the middle daughter, and the oldest is Vonda. Aunt Vonda, she passed in the early 2000s, and Aunt Sue's still kicking. And but her Vonda had 2 daughters. Both of them come to Memorial Day and their families. Jeff comes, my sister and I come, and all of our families. And so we gather together, have a cookout, and it's just fun. And typically we're off. And so that's just one of the highlights of that time. Labor Day, New Year's is a strong contender. I love New Year's, but for me, New Year's many times is just kind of like we don't have any regular things.
Yeah.
Yes, we watch football. Yes, we sometimes get together. Sometimes we don't. It's just one of those fluid things. Sometimes we're traveling.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've got church stuff that interferes and knocks us out of doing something. But so anyway, that's why it maybe honorable mention for New Year's.
Yeah.
All right, so
we're going to roll on to 4. All right, 4 for me is July 4th. All right, so one is like 4th and July 4th. I mean, that just goes together, right? And then
that's a preacher,
right?
If there ever was one.
But we've always loved July 4th, and especially since we've been in a senior pastor role. We've always celebrated it with our church. I mean, outside of our first year here was the only one, and we still celebrate. I'll explain. But in Paris, we had the entire church over to our house, and we provided the meat, barbecue, something like that, and everybody just came to our house, and we did a big potluck dinner type of thing, and did that outside as a picnic, and so there'd be kids playing through the backyard, and everybody just pulling up under shade trees, and so it was always just a fun time together to get to do that. And then, of course, here our July 4th celebration is one of my favorite events that we do every year. I really, really enjoy it. It is, I feel like a good community event for us, and so so that's my number 4. One of those days. Again, and I do consider myself a patriot. I love our country, and so it's a day to get to celebrate that too. And so we like July 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is New Year's, and it has nothing to do with New Year's. For me, it's because, like you said, New Year's there's no set plan in our half time. We don't even stay up or any of that, and I don't really watch football unless it's the Seminoles. But for us, basically from this mid-October till Christmas Eve is just a race.
Yeah.
And that's been that way for years with Christmas musicals, and it's always convention time and all that stuff. And so once we get to Christmas Eve, I don't know the last time I worked much that week between Christmas and New Year, because I always have vacation just to burn, and so I wind up taking that off, whatever. So it's just that it's New Year's more just based on that time at home and just downtime, recovery time, and always enjoyed that. Not so much the holiday itself, right, but just generally that's kind of the last of a week off for me, and so we generally enjoy that time. Recover. Yeah. That's about the laziest week of our year. Once we get through Christmas, we try not to travel too much. We try and do everything before Christmas so that we can just relax. So that's why New Year's I really enjoy. Yeah. Just being a bum.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So surprisingly cracks out of my top 3 is Thanksgiving. I like Thanksgiving, but it's not my top 3. That's kind of a little bit of a surprise, probably. But I mean, I enjoy Thanksgiving, obviously, for food and football and family. I mean, that's what Thanksgiving is. But I don't know. It's just, it doesn't, the other ones, there's more that kind of hits there. Of course, 1 and 2, which we'll get to that, just surpasses all of them without any question whatsoever. 3 will be a little bit different. But Thanksgiving, again, I struggled, to be perfectly honest. When my wife and I were talking about this, I almost didn't even put it in my top 5. I was like, but I don't know. I can't really put any of the other ones up there. So Thanksgiving's got to make
You were shamed into putting Thanksgiving.
I was shamed into putting Thanksgiving up there. I am very thankful for a lot of things, but I enjoy family time. It's a hard time, though. Maybe some of it, well, we'll get to that when we get to number 1. But I think that
more
makes
to
a
the
factor.
story.
I think
Yeah.
this year for Thanksgiving, I'm going to bring you a bite of the turkey that I make.
Oh, no,
It
see, I
will
love
get
turkey.
higher on your list.
I love
Because
Do you deep fry it?
No,
Deep fried turkey is
Smoked.
the best. I like smoked turkey,
I'm telling you, it'll be the greatest turkey you've ever tasted.
but I do pumpkin pie is one of my
dry.
favorites. I
It's
love
not.
pumpkin pie.
It's not. So I found the way to make turkey,
Oh my word!
and it involves all the things.
Okay, wait till we get to Thanksgiving in your list.
I just got put in place.
I love food.
I didn't have to do it.
Food is a big factor in what makes
Yes.
it in the top. There's no question about it.
Right.
But then
Yeah.
football
It's
too.
holidays. I mean, like
And I have gotten to the point where I've enjoyed it more with my kids of watching the Thanksgiving parade,
Yeah.
all that. And even my kids, we love watching the dog show. I mean, that's been fun to sit and watch and hang out. But when we start watching football, Preston just wants to go out and throw the football.
you just reminded me that I didn't even mention the hot dog eating contest for July 4th. I mean,
That's
like,
true. Yeah, that's true.
That does not enter into my considerations.
Joey Chestnut.
Yeah.
All right. So
Tiger number four.
my
Your number
four. My fourth is 4th of July.
Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about it and I'm looking at my list,
You
really
can't change it now.
I know. Really, it's all relative to gatherings. It's all relative
You're right.
to the experiences. And I too am patriotic. But we, for probably longer than we've had the Memorial Day thing, we've had gathering for 4th of July. Usually it involved all of my family and my sister's family coming to my mom and dad's house for the pool. And we would all just swim and hang out, and mom would just put out a spread, and we would just, it was eat and be lazy. and then
Sorry, we
listen
probably threw all that off, didn't we?
listen to patriotic music. Well, mom and dad are no longer here, and we've sold the house that had the pool. And so it's changed a lot. Now we gather at either my house or my sister's house, but still it's family getting together, and we still have a great time together. So, and now, this last year was my first year here with the 4th of July fireworks and stuff that we do. Obviously, that's a long day for us, in terms of being here. But wow, it was incredible to have to be able to just hang out with that many people and just serve them and get to know them. Had great conversations with folks, and so now I guess the 4th of July has taken on an entirely new tradition of being here. Which is great. And so anyway, that's number 4 on my list.
All right. So we go to 3.
3.
3. All right. 3 for me is Easter. So again, not top 2. And I think part of it is because the top 2 are so they're there for a reason for me or whatever else. But Easter, one is just it is the most when we talk spiritually, it is the most important holiday that we celebrate. And I think why 3 and not higher, it is a very busy day for us, and the prep up to it, even just the week up to it typically, and all of that. And so very thankful for what Easter means. It has always been, for us, even in ministry, it has always been usually a day with my family. They're usually able to travel easier to be where we are or have lived where we did. And so, most people know, like, our Sunday afternoons are typically go find which restaurant we're going to or picking up from or whatever else. But it's always Easter has always been go home, sit down and eat together, relax and enjoy, and it's that gathering time and those things that really stand out. So that's my number 3.
All right. Number 3 for me is July 4th. So I get one higher than y'all.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think that's new for me. That's definitely just since I moved here. So like you say, it's a lot about family. So my extended family, the only set dates on the calendar every year: Christmas, we get together; Thanksgiving, we get together; and July 4th, we get together. And that's been since we moved here. All my family, my sister and her family, and then my parents come here for July 4th. And so that's surrounded with family stuff. So that's one aspect that's I love, that we get to spend those few days right around there together. But our event here is just, it's so much fun to me. And so it is a long day, but anyway, I just love what we do. And there's always a point at some point during that day that I have taken a moment and just gotten, I cry a little bit probably just because I don't know.
Yeah.
I see what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I get a little emotional about it. Yeah. And so I've just really enjoyed that. Last July 4th was a lot of fun because I got to see Corey get really mad at one point.
Oh
Do
my
not
God.
get into that.
Let's not go there.
Was a lot of fun. But anyway,
The blood vessels were popping.
they were popping, and I loved it. I was just watching.
But it was fun. What's
The
fun?
funny thing is, so Melody probably saw
Just
that
get
and
hot
thought,
in here.
Corey's not really mad yet. So anyway,
yeah.
Probably the maddest we've seen him.
right. So anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
That
was funny.
So,
What's funny about Corey when he gets mad, and it doesn't happen a whole lot, but what I've gathered is he strips gears. It goes from first to fifth. There's no second, third, and fourth. There's no smooth, wind this one out. Oh, he's about to hit another gear. It's like it's on, which is funny. Anyway, what just reminded me, because you said your family was here, because we kind of sat right behind you guys and for the whole stuff, and then when the music went off and you took off. And we were sitting there, and there was no soundtrack.
And we listened to Miley Cyrus twice.
And so I started singing. I started singing, and your dad got tickled. I was just I can't even remember what I was singing. Something patriotic. And so
Did you not keep singing Miley Cyrus?
I may have.
I feel like there's a
don't know.
context.
Bennett
So
could
if
have
you-
stepped up and joined too. So yeah.
For anybody who wasn't there, we do have music that I set to the fireworks or whatever, and it halfway through the Miley Cyrus song, the whole thing just collapsed. So I took off running. I got it back up and running. It got another 10 seconds and then collapsed again.
Yeah, we got to fix that.
It was
this year.
really funny.
Make a note on your little notebook.
we'll make
I
sure.
think that the
so
sound
hot.
system just really knew that Miley Cyrus should not be played. And so it was like, nope, not doing that.
That's funny. All right, so
All right, my three. My three is New Year's. All right. And so for New Year's, I think this is for two reasons. Number one goes back to whenever I was younger. We always had a massive New Year's celebration, but it was church. It was basically a giant church event. It was not church. It wasn't put on by the church, but it was all these families, a part of the church. That literally, of course, we live in North Carolina. We couldn't get good fireworks even in New Year's, so we drove to South Carolina. Bunch of the guys, kind of, like my dad and a bunch of his friends, we'd all kind of go down, and they'd pitch in several $100s a piece to purchase really good fireworks. And then we would come back. We would do, we had friends that kind of lived out in a kind of away from everything, that we were able to shoot off a lot of fireworks, but we probably had 100 and 150 people that would gather. Gosh, from what I remember, middle school all through high school. I mean, this was an every year thing that we would do. It was just such a fun event that we would hang out. Kids would play. Massive property that we would play hide and go seek in the dark, and just had a blast. Distinctly remember Y2K happening there and waiting for everything to shut down, and it didn't happen. But it was awesome. I mean, it's just a wonderful. I loved that. I remember that, distinctly remember that as a kid growing up, even as a student myself. But now it's shifted. We don't do a big event for New Year's, and not saying that I want to do a big event for New Year's, but now what New Year's is, my family, of course, my kids are so young. They don't stay up late, and to be honest, neither does Megan. She usually hits the bed pretty quickly too. But I've always stayed up to midnight and wait. But now what I've started to do, my family all goes to bed. I'll kind of stay up for a while and watch football and do some different things. But then I've gotten to where about 5 minutes before New Year's hits, I just go walking down my street. And so literally I'm just on a road completely by myself, just looking up at the stars. I can hear people screaming and hooting and hollering around me, but it's just a moment where I'm able to just kind of essentially just started just praying in the new year. I know my family's at home in bed and asleep and thankful for all that's ahead of me and all what there is. And that's just become a really sweet time for me. And I mean, I've literally done that the last 3 years, just go out on the street, just walk by myself as I kind of ring in the new year in that way. And so that's been so New Year's just kind of it made my top 3.
Very cool.
It's cool.
So my 3 is Easter as well. It's always, the run up to whatever wherever I've been, whatever we're doing, sometimes it has been a big musical production. Sometimes I've been part of a drama that's had to be done that day. And so sometimes I'm preaching. So it's always something, but again, it's just obviously, it's the number one, holiday for us that we celebrate from a Christian perspective. But it's also a day that we get together. And for years, we got together at one of the local places in Kingsport that was doing a big, buffet brunch kind of thing after church. So that was fun. Obviously that's changed since I'm a little bit further away from Kingsport, where we call home. But still, it's just a gathering. This year, I think I had a bunch of people over at my house, and it was Ellie and her boyfriend and several friends of hers that didn't go home. They came to our house, and I grilled out, and we did some stuff on the Blackstone, and had a house full of people. It was kind of funny. And so anyway, Easter is number 3 on the Tiger Brooks list of top 5 holidays.
Easter.
You two have almost lined up.
No, that's what I was.
I'd say we're probably united from here on out.
From here on out, yeah. So again, my number 2 is
not me.
Yeah, I know Jason threw it all off.
Weird.
We know your last one though.
Yeah. He tried to get real spiritual on New Year's,
right?
So he can get to
You think you know my last
one of his top.
Yeah, we know your last one. Anyway, number 2 is Thanksgiving for me, and again, it's those times spent with family, and so we have always made all of the rounds for Thanksgiving. So we've always been with all of our family. So no matter what that took, I can remember years, especially either when just before the boys were born or when the boys were born. I mean, it was like we traveled back and forth and back. I mean, it felt like 1,500 miles in 3 or 4 days or whatever else. But it's just one of those times that you see everybody, you spend time with everybody. Again, and it's the food, and we kind of have different food at different places, and then the football and just all. I mean, I think about the last few years before Melody's mom passed away. We rented a cabin and we did all of that together, and it was the boys outside playing airsoft with their grandmother, and she had a fully automatic airsoft gun. I mean, so it's just all of those types of things. Though it's that family time, and so it's not even just the one specific thing, but it's just that's always been a very important time for all of our families, that we make sure that we all get together during that. And so, yeah. And I would say, again, we talk about spiritual holiday. I think that it is geared and centered around an American holiday, but easily ties with spiritual purpose and reason with us. And I think within church ministry, we have to make those connections for our people, and that importance for giving thanks for all that God's done for us. So, yeah, that's my number 2.
Yep, ditto. Thanksgiving, love food, all the same reasons.
Yeah.
So, but I think anybody who knows me knows I like to eat.
Yeah.
And a holiday that's meant for eating.
for eating.
It's just like my calling card.
So is there anything
fact,
that's unique
Back to the smoked turkey.
I mean, turkey's pretty normal, although that's smoked turkey. But I'm saying, is there a unique food that you think about for
Cranberry sauce.
See,
no,
but again, that's a given. I mean, like,
No, it's
No,
not. I don't eat
that
that.
stuff's nasty.
that's a given.
Do not eat that stuff.
We're about the cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Not all about it, but we're about it.
We don't eat the cranberry
no,
sauce.
we don't
no, growing up, it has always been my granny, her dressing. And even to the point, like there was a year where we were at a different location for Thanksgiving and they did dressing and I was like, this is
Right. I completely get that.
and I can get on board with dressing when it's, like a little different than granny's, but yeah, no, that's like a token. Like my mom will be bringing her mom's dressing to Thanksgiving at our house.
Yeah.
It's just a given.
Yeah.
So and then with
So
regards
you have
to
you have any other meat other than turkey?
we usually do ham.
Ham and turkey.
And now that the
Spiral
last couple of
sliced.
years,
Spiral slice honey baked ham. Yes.
yeah. So the last couple of years we've hosted it, my family's Thanksgiving at our house, and that's a lot of people to feed. So like this year I'll do a brisket
Yeah.
to the night before, and then we'll still be snacking on a brisket.
Yeah.
So that is always a good day.
Yeah. So the last couple years we've actually done, well, not last couple years, every other year just about since we've moved here, we do Thanksgiving at the beach with my family, get a house. But we've had turkey there, but it's hard to cook turkey when you're at a house like that and all you got's an oven.
Yeah.
And so
we've this big.
Yeah,
At a
it's
vacation place.
pretty hard. So we've actually gotten to where my dad does like a butt, and that's what we eat. That's kind of become, at least those traditions,
Thanksgiving.
is Thanksgiving tradition. So that's kind of cool.
That's interesting. Yeah. No, I make I don't like turkey.
Really?
Yeah, it's not my thing. But I found a recipe once I had a smoker.
Smoke it, yeah.
And
You inject
you
it.
brine it, you inject it, you do all of the things.
Yeah.
So you brine it for 24 hours, and then you inject it with Cajun butter, and then you smoke it for however long it is. And oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
So I will tear that.
I
up.
would
And then
I would gladly partake.
I will. So I did it for the Deacons thing a couple 2 years ago.
I remember that.
I smoked it, and it was a big hit. Then Leah, because Leah's an incredible chef, she make turkey pot pie.
With the leftovers?
With the leftovers,
Yeah.
and it's like a reduced. It's like a fancy turkey pot pie, and then it's got Red Lobster biscuits on the top.
Yes.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness,
yeah.
dude!
Oh, that's
I'm getting
fantastic.
excited right now.
Ooh.
Thanksgiving is coming.
Yes, it is. Anyway, I like food.
Yeah.
So what's hitting my head right now as we talk about food for Thanksgiving is the Friends sandwich that was the post.
Yes.
Yeah.
You ate my sandwich.
All right, you're number 2. That's going to be different than everybody else's.
It is. And I'm going to, so this is going to go like your sports thing. Now I'm going to become this very unspiritual
Here it comes.
person.
I know what it is.
Here it is.
Anyone
we know.
who has driven by your house
We know.
this month knows what this is going to be.
My second favorite holiday is Halloween. I love Halloween.
J Vineyard at Seymour FBC.
It's fall festival, not. It's a harvest gathering.
I do. Yes, of course, I enjoy the trunk or treat stuff. And the previous church that I was at, we had an incredible trunk or treat as well, and so much fun. And I enjoy those things and all that. And but for me, I mean, it's just I love the decorations. I don't do witches and all that stuff. My house is spiders, and kind of my theme on this. I have 2 big fears. My 2 biggest fears are spiders and clowns. I can't stand clowns. I think that is.
I'm writing that down. Jason is scared of
I don't like spiders and clowns.
And here's the thing. So like I'm decorating my house and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to decorate my house in such a way that I want it to be spooky and scary. I am not decorating my house with clowns. That is not happening. I can do spiders. That I at least can kind of get over. And so I've even built my own spider webs around my house.
They're
And
10 foot tall. It's not real.
yeah, I mean they're really, I mean I love it. I love decorating that stuff and putting that stuff out and I love that kind of thing. But I love Halloween and sitting at my door, and it's kind of it's a little bit, I'll get to this in a minute, but it's also one of these things I love. All the people coming up, my neighbors coming up, other people coming to my neighborhood, meeting those people, handing out candy. And I love candy. So, that is another win. And this year I'm going to get 4 bags worth of candy because all 4 of my kids are going to go trick-or-treating. And I'll just be honest. I eat way more candy of their candy than they do.
Yeah, the tax.
I enjoy
the
that.
Dad tax on all that candy
right.
is fairly significant.
But I enjoy walking the neighborhood with my boys and them, the excitement that they have. It was fun a couple years ago whenever Roman was ready to go, full on ready to go trick-or-treating. Preston was still unsure of walking up. And man, watching, this sounds terrible too. I love watching my kids get scared. I scare my kids all the time in the house and jump out at them and whatever. And we have a blast doing that kind of stuff. And so Halloween's just one of those fun holidays to me. And I enjoy it. My wife loves it. We actually have a tree already decorated in our house. It's decorated with Halloween stuff. And so I love it. Halloween.
Okay, I got a question for you. If you're scared of clowns, how did you handle the clown when you were in Guatemala on mission trip?
Yeah, so they did not tell me that he was coming out like that. And I told him, so we were sitting in the kind of at the hotel where there's that little foyer area, everybody kind of gathers and I could tell something was up and so people were kind of snickering and laughing and man, he came up behind me and thankfully I knew who he was pretty quickly. And he's, man, I loved him. He was a great interpreter for us and did an awesome job. And so I already knew him. The worst part of that is he was sick whenever, like he really had gotten sick. And so his voice was this deep, gargly. And so he dressed up as a clown. That's exactly it. It was terrible. But he dressed up as a clown because that was the day we were going to work with the kids. And so he was going to be this clown for the kids. And man, yeah, if I didn't, I told him, I said, if I didn't know who you were, I probably would have decked you. I mean, that was not cool, man. He came up behind me.
See, my mind's going because I can see a large clown costume in my future.
Ditto. I wrote it down.
I'm going to be like, what's the John Wayne Gacy, the guy, the serial killer who dressed up like a clown for parties?
Listen, my theory is
I'm going to come to your house.
My theory is this, and I'm sorry out there if you like being a clown. I'm terribly sorry at this. My theory is this.
No, he's literally sorry that you are a clown.
This episode may get us some more time than I do.
If you feel like you've got to dress up, paint your face, and go to kids' events, something's just weird with you.
Oh,
that's just weird.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You're getting more emails than I did about that.
The clown union's going to pay a visit to your house.
That would be funny if we could get the clown union to go visit his house. Maybe at 12:01 on New Year's as he's coming back from his walk.
Yes! There's just a whole bunch of clowns. This is happening.
Did y'all go to the Shriner Circus?
Yeah.
Anybody go to the Shriner
Yeah.
Circus? They got a bunch of clowns.
Yeah.
Man, no, that's not me. I don't do that.
That's so funny.
All right, Tigers.
All right, number two. The time's getting away from us. My 2 is Thanksgiving. All the reasons that have already been talked about. Thanksgiving was always the play. I mean, that was when everybody in the family got together, and it transitioned from time to time. Lots of great memories, lots of unbelievable food. But always traditional stuff: turkeys, spiral sliced hams. Pratt's, where we're from, Pratt's is the local place to get your ham. And but just my sister makes a sweet potato casserole and a carrot souffle. It's a carrot souffle, actually.
Carrot souffle.
Yeah,
sounds
it's
interesting.
kind of the same thing. It's very good.
Sweet.
It's very sweet. Yeah, it's almost like dessert, kind of good. And my mom used to make a great dressing as well. And she would make a turkey gravy that, you put that with mashed potatoes and the dressing and the turkey. There's just like this holy trinity of stuff that happens on a plate that's wonderful. And so anyway, it's a great time of gathering. I love fall.
Yeah.
I love the color schemes. I love the attire. I love everything. And one of my the biggest argument that Paige and I have ever had is that Paige is always somebody that likes to be proactive and start things. You know, she's always like, I'm Mr. What's the opposite of that? Procrastinate. Yeah, I'm Mr. Procrastination because I can just wait and get it done and without having to stress about it forever. But she's not. And so she wanted to decorate. She wanted to start decorating before Thanksgiving for Christmas. No, I always have to have Thanksgiving. I know. It's okay. We're getting there.
Jason started like 4 months ago.
Jason's been decorated since July, but yeah, it was not good. I'm not proud of it. It was not good. Literally sent me to the hospital. I thought I was having. I did. I left church singing in the choir one Sunday morning, thinking I was having chest pains, gonna have a heart attack because of the arguments that we'd been having that weekend. And turned out it was just. It was
more than just one argument.
It was reflux.
It was a weekend's worth of argument.
We visited it again over and over again. It was not good. You can ask her about it.
I don't know if I want to.
But I had acid reflux. The stress level was such that was so embarrassing. That could be a whole episode in and of itself.
All you had to do was put up a Christmas tree to drop your stress level.
Picture this. Me in a hospital gown, rolling around on the x-ray machine, trying to get a chest x-ray, trying to keep my body covered. And the young lady that was doing it, we went to school together all the way through school. She goes, Tommy, I'm sorry. She goes back to when I was Tommy.
Yeah.
She goes, I'm so sorry. And I'm, anyway, thinking I'm here because I'm an idiot. And I'm having to do all this. Okay, so Thanksgiving's number 2. Let's go.
I think
number
1. Let's do for time
all together now.
Together. What's our number 1?
Christmas.
Father's Day.
What?
Oh, wait, I'm just kidding.
Everybody's
Definitely Christmas.
And I think we've all talked about the reason. I mean, one is I think it's all the family things. I mean, I think we all do that. And then again, to me, it's the build up. I love.
It's the build up, unlike any other holiday.
Yeah.
It's Christmas for.
It's a season.
Because, I mean, just like what you were just saying, I mean, it's at least from right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And now it's even earlier than that,
Yeah.
or whatever else. And so, yeah.
Mine also, yes, all the family things and the downtime, but also food.
Yeah.
We do
your beef Wellington?
shrimp cocktail and shrimp pasta on Christmas Eve night. Christmas Day, we have late biscuits and gravy that Leah makes. That's like one of the only days of the year that we do that. And then she does beef Wellington on Sunday night. It's to die for. And that's the only time we do that during the year. And then I make homemade cinnamon rolls the day after Christmas every year. And that's the only time of the year I do that. So we just, we do a lot of food.
Yeah.
We do shrimp cocktail Christmas Eve. So again, we have the Christmas Eve candlelight service, and then we go home, and it's kind of that snacky, type of food. So we'll do shrimp cocktails and stuff.
It's also one of the few times in the year that it feels like everybody is happy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Once
one
you
thing.
get to
Unless
Christmas.
once you
Not
get
the
to Christmas,
meetup, yeah.
Right.
and some people, yes, a lot of people are stressed out, and I think if you're stressed out over Christmas, you're doing it wrong. That's just my opinion. But I think I love the lights, and for me, I was going back to Halloween. Some of it is this too, that we usually are setting up our first real Christmas tree on Halloween when trick-or-treaters are coming around. That's when I set up my first real one. The big tree goes up Halloween Day, and it's up all year. I have one tree that stays up all year. It never comes down. But we put up all other Christmas trees kind of throughout the year, building up to it. But, I mean, even you talk about the family stuff, it's one of those times that's where you're hitting every family. Like you're going to all the family.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, we usually try and do, it's usually kind of we're going to hit one family or maybe two, but Christmas, man, we're hitting everybody and we're doing it all. And obviously, yes, there's the spiritual side of it, the coming of Christ and whatnot is definitely there, but it's also a season, a time. I think I got more into Christmas when I became a dad because watching their faces light up and the excitement that they have of giving as well. We've gotten to the point where I take the boys and, I do Roman, Preston, and Tatum. I take those boys, just them, me individually with one of them, and they pick out mom's Christmas present. And then they pick out their brother's Christmas present. And we kind of do that whole gamut and getting them the not just, this isn't just a season about you getting, but it's a season of you giving too. And I love it all. And I mean, of course, the movies are great too.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I don't even think about the movie.
Don't get him started on.
I do, but not the Hallmark.
Don't get him started on his Hallmark.
Great American Family now. It's Great American Family.
Great American Family. Okay.
I do still like the Hallmarks, but they're okay.
So yeah, and for me, just adding on to everything else that's been said, the food gatherings are great at Christmas. It's just the most traditional thing of the year still, and we've got all the things. We've got Christmas Eve is typically whenever our Christmas Eve service is. Then we go eat Chinese buffet wherever we are. We last year was a little bit of a change. We went to Little Tokyo down there next to Food City because that was the closest thing we can get to, and we had hibachi Christmas, kind of the same. But then Christmas for years, and you're going to love this. Christmas morning for decades consisted of we'd get up and we'd open presents. If there were young ones, we'd do that first, and they'd open their presents, and then we would gather at either mom and dad's house or my aunt's house for breakfast with everybody. And this principal thing that we would make is fried oysters for breakfast. Fried oysters, sausage, biscuits, gravy, hash brown casserole, all kinds of stuff. But fried oysters,
good. But
fried oysters, it was just a tradition.
Weird.
I mean, they were good, and we haven't done that in years as of late. But we may have to reboot that one in our household this year. But
I think we need to do a follow-up episode on Christmas traditions when we get close.
Christmas traditions.
I feel like we have a lot of stories.
oh, I got tons of stories.
I think
we could also have the holiday mishaps, like your.
that's what I was about to tell that story, but then I thought I'm gonna save that for
Yeah. Had a candlelight service about burning the church down.
I didn't burn the church down, but almost burned Eli. No, Everett. It was Everett. Funny looking at that list. So
Most of us.
you guys did not have Halloween on your list at all.
No.
And we didn't have Easter on our list at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we can see who's more spiritual.
Yes.
I've
Clearly.
never made any claims about that.
So one of the things about Halloween that was so wild. Okay, so we had lived in the house before we moved here. Almost 2 years we were in the house that we moved away from to come here. But we moved to one of the main thoroughfares in Kingsport's Watauga Street, and you talk about trick or treaters.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that I had, I grew up close to that in a neighborhood that's adjacent there. I've never seen the number of, we had close to 2,000
Wow.
trick-or-treaters that would walk up and down Watauga Street. I mean, we were completely cleaned out of candy halfway through the night.
Wow.
I mean, we were finding
House get egged?
No, I was sitting out in front of it. So, I mean, we were looking
In a
under
clown
the
costume, right?
We were, yeah. Who wants some candy?
Guys, there's Sasquatch at a house over there.
But that Halloween there was kind of an interesting thing. I'm anxious to see, because we weren't in our house now for Halloween. So, and we got kids in the neighborhood, and so it's going to be interesting to see what that's going to be like.
Cool.
All right, so that's the holiday edition. That's the Seymour from the Front Pew holidays our way, and we'll maybe follow up on some of the things that we've touched on here. We are heading into that season, and hopefully you found some connection with some of the conversation here, and hopefully you're getting ready for your holidays, however you do so. We'd love for you to come join us in some of the things that we've talked about here at Seymour First Baptist Church. But if you thought this was funny and want to share it, we'd love for you to do that and support the podcast that way. Until next time, we're going to shovel off. We'll see you.
Full up. Like we're just a bunch of
Double off. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Everybody say goodbye, guys.
See ya.
Happy holidays.
Thank you for listening to Seymour from the Front Pew. Our sole desire for this podcast is to glorify God by educating and encouraging His body. If you would like to learn more about anything you've heard today, feel free to reach out by email at staff@seymourfbc.org or by visiting our website at seymourfbc.org. If you're located near our community and do not have a church home, come worship with us at 10:15 a.m. on Sunday morning. Until then, we pray God's richest blessings on you and yours as you love God, love others, make disciples, and live the life.